I want to read a statement on behalf of the government of Kenya. This statement is entitled, Kenya summons its ambassador to the Federal Republic of Somalia and instructs the ambassador of Somalia to Kenya to depart to Somalia for consultations. Kenya has summoned its ambassador to the Federal Republic of Somalia, Ambassador Lieutenant General retired Lucas Tumbo. He has been summoned back to Nairobi for urgent consultations. The summons is a consequence of a most regretful and egregious decision by the government of Somalia to auction off oil and gas blocks in Kenya's maritime territorial area that borders Somalia. The auction took place in London, United Kingdom, on the 7th February 2019. This unparalleled affront and illegal grab at the resources of Kenya will not go unanswered, and it is tantamount to an act of aggression against the people of Kenya and their resources. This outrageous and provocative auction deserves and will be met with a unanimous and resounding rejection by all Kenyans, as well as all people of goodwill who believe in the maintenance of international law and order and the peaceful and legal resolution of disputes. Kenya, through multiple channels, including direct diplomatic démarches at the highest of levels, has sought to find an amicable and peaceful resolution of the maritime boundary and has severally and emphatically stated its unequivocal claim of the maritime area that is known to be historically Kenyan. Kenya has willingly and procedurally enjoined itself to the international legal processes of international boundary disputes, including but not limited to bilateral negotiations and subservience to the International Court of Justice, where this matter of this boundary between Kenya and Somalia currently rests. By carelessly ignoring the internationally accepted norms of boundary disputes resolution and/or political and diplomatic disagreements, the federal government of Somalia has sadly demonstrated that it has not yet attained and embraced the political maturity and diplomatic stance of a normal, well-adjusted, and properly functioning modern government. It is tragic and most regretful that the government of Somalia has chosen to take this action against a people and a state that has stood by the Somali people through incredible humanitarian and political hardships. Kenya has stood by Somalia without once flinching on its responsibility to its neighbor, nor shirking its international responsibility to the people of Somalia. Kenya regrets that the action of the government of Somalia has undermined and severely damaged the existing cordial and brotherly relations between the government of Kenya and Somalia, and has compromised half a century's worth of dedication and cooperation between our two countries. It is particularly egregious that the government of Somalia has chosen to dismiss these years of commitment to the people of Somalia by seeking to auction Kenyan sovereign resources to the highest predatory bidders from the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland and the Kingdom of Norway, among others. On the 6th February 2019, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, alarmed at the incorrect display and characterization of Kenyan maritime territory as belonging to Somalia during that London auction, summoned the Somali ambassador to Kenya and formally demanded a withdrawal of the incorrect map displayed at the conference and a cessation of the auction of the oil and gas blocks in Kenya's territory. The ambassador of Somalia received the protests and confirmed on the same day that Kenya's alarm and consternation at developments at the London conference had been registered at the highest level of the Somali government. It was agreed that there would be a speedy and amicable response to Kenya's objections. At the same time, Kenya's ambassador to Somalia received his instructions to formally deliver Kenya's protest to the government of Somalia, which, again, Kenya's ambassador confirmed was received at the highest level of the Somali government. It is therefore most regretful that the government of Kenya has now arrived at the conclusion that its protests and demands that Kenya's sovereignty and territorial integrity be respected have been ignored. The government of Kenya cannot and will not stand by as its demarches are ignored and its territorial integrity is infringed upon and its sovereign resources are carved out and shared out by an ungracious and unbrotherly neighbor acting to satisfy the greed of commercial interests resident in foreign lands. Kenya would like to remind the government of Somalia, and by extension the international community, that Kenya's magnanimity towards its neighbors must never be taken for granted. Kenya has paid an unparalleled price for its generosity and hospitality without ever asking for anything in return. The lives of Kenyans lost owing to Kenya's commitment to international peace and security remain a fresh memory in the minds of Kenyans and a painful reminder of the high cost of good neighborliness and international corporate responsibility. Over the past 30 years, Kenya has hosted hundreds of thousands of refugees from many of its neighbors. Today, Kenya hosts over 400,000 Somali refugees and asylum seekers in Kenya, despite the hijacking of these humanitarian spaces by terrorists and criminal elements who have used the camps to plan and launch terror attacks in Kenya. This situation cannot be allowed to continue. The patience of the people of Kenya is not infinite. Kenya is prepared and ready to defend its territorial integrity at any cost and considers all those directly or indirectly, whether Kenyan or non-Kenyan, in encroachment of Kenya's territory as enemies of the state and as adversaries of the people of Kenya. And that is the end of the statement. Thank you very much. Asanteni sana. Twashukuru.